Hey guys, I'm Asada East, better known as Bullfeng Zhu. I'm a musician, producer, composer, recording, and a mix engineer. And today will be my first episode on Bullfeng Studios. And I thought, what a better way to kick off this episode by giving you a quick tour of the studio. Let's check it out. Ta-da! Check this out, guys. This is what I've been building for a long time. I've done a lot of research. This is my little heaven, my little piece of heaven. This is where all the magic happens. Welcome to Bullfeng Studios. As you can see, everything's acoustically designed here. I've been doing a lot of research and studying and resolving to how I can make this room sound great for mixing, well tuned and balanced for mixing, which is here's the sweet spot right there. Okay, it's 167 centimeters away from the wall and in a perfect 60-degree triangle to the speakers. This whole room is set up around that, which is great. So it's so well balanced for mixing, mastering, and tracking as well. I built it in a way that it's modular. And as you can see, all these diaphragmatic absorbers over here, these control all the low end. They manage all the low end. And these vented acoustic panels and the clouds, particularly up in the ceiling. But most importantly is these diaphragmatic absorbers here. And I can be very modular with this studio. So I can move these things around, turn it into a tracking facility and a mixing facility. So at this moment, it's kind of in the mix position where I can move this other diaphragmatic absorber. Here, let me shut that door. 1 second. And bring this to its own mix position here. And I also have this particular absorber right here where I can move it around and turn it into a vocal booth as well. Let me show you how. 1 sec. So I can move this guy around. My mic's probably away, but that's okay. At least I'm going to show you. And bring this guy all the way here. And I have everything's patched in and ready to go. So I can record guitars really quick and easily. I'll tell you all about that in a second. But now first example, vocals. Just put a vocal mic over here with a tripod. I have his or her headset going out here with a level controller. So, they can put their Q mix up and down. And what I do is I'll move this diaphragmatic absorber over on this side. And I'll bring the other one, which you can see over here. And I won't do it now, but obviously you can check it out, and bring it over on this side. So now we have this little vocal booth and it sounds brilliant. When I put my U47, I got a couple of U47s, yes, and they sound amazing. And that's what I do for that. Now, on the other hand, let's talk about how I record guitars. That's the beautiful part. Come check it out. So now, if I want to record guitars easily, and they're always ready to go because, I'm a guitar player, if some of you know or don't. And valves like to run hot. I record everything live. Before I get into how I record the guitars, this is my amp over here. I have an endorsement by Seriatone. I got my own signature amp. And I got a whole array of different pedals, which are all, if you want to look down here, everything's ready to go. Plenty of pedals. I don't know if you can see that. Can you check these out? Some pedals over here. These are the drives. Some pedals over here. Whoever wants to come and record and check things out, they're all in here. And more pedals over here. And so forth. This is a whole shelf full of pedals. All the cables are ready to go. They're all set to go into my XLR patch bay, which goes into whatever preamps I want. At this moment, example, I got a ribbon mic, my Royer R10, going into my Manly Force. It sounds really good with it. And I usually put this mic actually as a third mic in case it's got kind of that mid-range, low mid-range, which is really nice. And I hook it up to this preamp, which sounds good, in combination to a 57, which goes into my Dakin pre. This Dakin pre is unbelievable. It's got like that API Trident sound. Fantastic. And I also have my Neve preamps if I have that option. It depends what sound I'm going for. Now, how I record guitars and get them really loud, obviously I don't want to blow the neighbors' heads off, is I found a guy in Germany. I was always adamant about building ISO boxes because they always sounded honky and some strange resonances. So I always put it in a room. But the problem is I can't do that now because it'd be too loud. It's not soundproofed, and I like easy access. So I came across a man. His name is Grossman, and he built these ISO cabs. I don't know if you can see it well. Let me get some light on there so you guys can see it. And this is the ISO box where I record all the guitars. I can even record bass, amps, and stuff. Like for guitars, I try to run just 2 mics. Sometimes the third one. It depends if I want the mid range. So check this out. Why is this box so special? I'm not promoting or any way endorsed by this guy. I was just looking for many years for a solution. And these are built in a schematic of a Helmholtz diaphragmatic absorber. So they're not just isolated boxes. They're tuned because you get all that low end with all that pressure inside, and this eliminates all that. So if you want to come have a look of how this works, it's fantastic. Come on in. Check it out. So I got my Royer ribbon mic over there. Sorry, this is out the way. My 57, obviously in phase. And this is where the third mic comes in. And I can easily move these around and bring them back to normal. So I can pull them out, and I can also unlock this speaker, remove it, and change different speakers. There's an EVM 12 right now, but I can put many different speakers. And I think I will do an episode on a nice speaker shootout in the coming future. And you just pull it out. It comes with banana plugs very easily. And it's all back to set where I gaffer tape and spike it up over here and ready to record. You know what I mean? And it drops down to minus 35 to minus 40 dB. So it's pretty hefty. I'll do an episode on that to show you how loud and how soft it goes. So that's always ready to go and ready to be plugged in. Talked about the mic. So when I want to go into the mix position, I move this guy back over here. And there we go. And I bring this guy right over here. So coming back to what I'm using for a little console, well, it's just really a big mouse, but it's actually been helping me a lot with my workflow. I use Logic mainly, and this controls all my DAW, and I can control all the EQs and plugins. Example, I can set everything up, makes life a lot easier, so I can mix with faders and using my ears rather than my mouse, which is fantastic, right? And then coming to the mic locker, which is right here, and I have a nice array of mics. Everything's set up and ready to go. So I'm sure you guys have heard of the Coles 4038s. I got a nice matched pair. It's in case I need to record drums. Right here, there's 2 of them. Check these babies out. The most beautiful ribbon mics ever. And I got this is pair 1. I know you guys know what these are. I'm holding the mic, but you guys know these mics. And beautiful sounding mics on guitars, on many sources I can use them on. They're wonderful. Also, I got this special U47, which I'll show you in a second. Let me close this up. All right. I have another beautiful valve mic, which nobody knows about. It's made by a Canadian company called Bardell. It's a nice mic. I've used it on room mics. I'll have to pull it out and show you. But my pride and joy at this moment is all my mic collection over here, which is a nice collection. I'm just going to show you the 47. I'm sure you guys know the rest. I got some SM7s, so this is the Stam 47 FET. It's a beautiful mic, great for vocals, for bass, kick, and whatnot. And I'll be soon enough getting my U47 tube with an M7 capsule, which is brilliant for vocals. And that's primarily what I'm going to use it for. Anyway, we'll do more in-depth stuff later on in the future about mics and whatnot. And I'm sure my voice is moving around a lot because I'm holding a mic and showing you stuff. Next time, hopefully, we'll have a proper lapel that goes on so I can move with my hands. And then I'm going to show you what I really invested in beautiful pieces of gear. And this is what I call the rack, better known as the Beast. Check this baby out. All these beautiful racks. I built this whole rack unit myself. Patched it up, made all the cables. So it's a wonderful piece. And how I mix and record and everything, I go through analog summing. So everything's done in an analog fashion. The hybrid mix. So this has got that SSL transform in and preamp, so I can get that SSL sound. And I also have a switch here where I can run in any other preamps I want. There's a beautiful company in Kahayan, who makes wonderful gear, handmade of course. and all this beautiful rack that goes through it. And it's also got a master insert. The first 8 channels, I have switches to insert any of these processors, or I run them into the patch bay right up over here. And you know how that goes. Now, most important in the studio is your workflow, and how you do your workflow is very simple. You just got to work out your patching and your routing. And if you look over here, I have these routing patches for my patch bay everywhere. So I have one here, I have one in the back of the rack in case I need to rewire stuff and know where everything is. This is so important because I need to be able to navigate and workflow really well. So this took me a few days each time. I've maneuvered and changed this around many times, the setup. But all in all, like, it took me a while to figure out what is the best workflow for me. So I have one here always, and one on my computer down here to know what I need to patch and whatnot, and one behind the rack eventually. You know what I mean? And for monitoring, I just got these pair of Genelec 8331s. They're on another level, these speakers. I'm really in awe. I used to use Genelecs back in another production studio, the older one, 1031s. But these things are completely on another level. Every detail I'm hearing. I used to have Focals. I sold those, got those. Last 2 records I did for Bullfunk Zoo, I mixed all my NS10s. They're sitting here. You know, I still use them as reference. They still sound like shit, but they're very handy and useful. I still enjoy them. But now I'm on to these. And most importantly for studio monitors is the whole decoupling thing, because a lot of people put them on desks. But I learned my lesson to build speaker stands. If you look at these ones here, what I have, these are 2.5 milli thick wood, they're really heavy stands, filled with insulation. So there's no vibration whatsoever, and that's the biggest problem. You don't want any distractions with your monitoring and whatnot, bouncing off everywhere and doing whatnot. So mixed position is right there. So it's a beautiful, beautiful sweet spot. I'm so happy and so lucky to have managed all of this. So it's kind of a mastering, it's a mastering room really, turned into a mixing room and tracking room. And you know, mastering rooms need to be tuned. So this is what it's made for. So yeah, this is the studio tour. And everything's accessible, ready to go, and it's all about performance. This is one thing I wanted to talk about in a studio. Well, my philosophy for Bullfunk Studio is how to capture a great performance. Being a musician, composer first, and engineer, mix engineer later on. That's what I want, is to get all the creative juices. So whoever comes to record here, for me, it's about getting that beautiful performance out of them. And while they're doing that, if they're going to get that beautiful performance, I want to record them beautifully, because it's always about the source and how good it sounds at the source. So when you have a good mic slapped onto a vocalist or who's singing and you push him to sing his performance really well, which is king, I want to capture it beautifully. So I capture it through a different array of preamps that I have going, a different array of compressors inside. So it already sounds beautifully mixed from the start. So the mixing process gets much easier, nicer, and easier to deal with. But, you know, sometimes I get sources that are not recorded well, and I have to fix it. And, you know, this whole idea initially for me was fix it in the box later. I'm a bit skeptical about it, but you have to do it because you're going to get sources that are not recorded well, and you have to sit there and fix it. But anyway, this is my studio, ladies and gentlemen. This is what the whole setup is. Very easy, accessible, very creative atmosphere for me, my little humble abode, and for anybody who wants to come and have fun with me here. And that's about it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the studio tour. I will be covering various topics on audio, music production, and of course music on this channel. And if you have any comments or anything you'd like to know about or ask about, leave them in the comments below. And don't forget to share, subscribe, and hit the like button. My social media platforms for Bullfunk Studios and also Bullfunk Zoo will be down in the description. And most importantly, I'd really like to thank my good friend Mac for shooting and directing these episodes. He's right here behind the camera. And check out his channel. It'll also be down in the description. And yeah, that's about it. I'll see you next time. Peace, love, and rock and roll.